Hi, it's Nick. I'm making this video just to show you the second train set that I received from my parents in 1956. It's the Santa Fe freight train, and you can see what it looks like as a whole set. What I'm going to do is I'll explain each car and also the diesel. So I'm just going to move the train out of the way. The engine, as you can see, it's an F3, and it's the Santa Fe, and it has the Santa Fe wall bonnet paint scheme, and it really looks nice. And what I'm going to do is I'll just start with the side of the engine, then I'll go to the roof, and then the front and the back. As you can see, the trucks, they're die-cast metal, and they're painted black, and they have some nice detail to it. Over here you have your bearing caps, and these here are 4 leaf springs, and then you have these 2 cylinders, and I guess they're probably to hold the air for the brakes. And of course the back trucks are the same as the front. Now the side, they have a ladder, and then they have a door here, and windows in the door and the window in the cab, and they're all plastic. As you move down, they have some nice grill work up in this area and in this area too. And then they have a little square, and it has like a little star in it. Now these 2 parts right here, those are window ports. And in the 027 they didn't put the clear plastic that you would have here, but the O gauge had them. Then as you go, in the back here, it says GM for General Motors, and it says Lionel, built by Lionel. It has a metal step, and it goes access this little door here, and you have a door here. And also you have the fuel tank right in this area here. Now, on the top, you have 2 horns with separately applied. I'm sure they glued them in. And then you have some grills here, and they're open. You can actually see into the body. And then you have your fans, 4 fans and 2 exhaust stacks. But of course, they're part of the mold of the plastic. And then you have another little design here, patch. I really liked it. It's a nice looking engine. I'm going to show you the front. I'm going to have to pick it up, fellas. Now the front, it has a headlight that works, and you have 2 number boards, and the numbers for this one is 2243, and they do illuminate. They have the Santa Fe written in front, and with the orange and the black lettering, and the black stripes with yellow, which is very nice. I really enjoy it. And then they have some kind of grill work right in here, as you can see. It's all, again, in the plastic. You have your skirt. You have an operating coupler. You can either do it by hand, or when you go over the magnetic track and you just press the button, it energizes it, and it pulls this pin down, and it opens up and has a little spring in the coupler, and then by hand you could close it. And also in the glass, the plastic, right, they have little windshields, but it's part of the plastic. I thought that was a little neat. And now I'll show you the back of the engine. It has some nice detail. It has a door here, and it has the bar, and then you have little windows here, and a window in the door, but no plastic. And then you have some decoration here, and you have a nice platform, and it has some rivet detail, skid material. Really, really neat. Now, also what I like to do, fellas, just to show you the inside of the engine, what it looks like. Just have to take the top off, the body off. And I have to be careful because there's two clips that holds the back, and this here is so close to the horn that you gotta go kind of easy. But it comes up, if you see what I mean, how close it is. Now, this is 1956 technology. What you have here, as you can see, is the bulb, which lights up the cab, the headlight, and the number boards. Now, as you come back, this device right here is a relay. But this relay is to operate the horn. When you press the whistle on the transformer, it energizes this, and it picks up this contact, and it allows the current from the DC battery, which is a D battery, and it travels on this wire, and in this housing there's a coil, and it's DC coil, and when it energizes, there's a plunger it pushes against this diaphragm that's in here, and that's how you get the noise. Now, I can also do it by just picking up. Now, remind you now, there's no current on the track, so it's definitely just coming from this DC. Now, I'm going to lift up the contact, and that horn should work. There it goes. Now, the next relay that you see here, this relay is the one that it's a directional relay. It makes it go forward, neutral, reverse. And then after that is the motor, and this is a Werner motor. But on this particular engine, and the engines in that era, 56, 57, 58, and so on, they had what they call Magnate traction. And actually, I'm not sure whether it's the engine that creates the magnetic field, or if it's coming from the track power. But once you get current on here, these wheels become magnetized, and it helps with the traction. That's where they get the Magnate traction. And it really does work. As a matter of fact, after I run the engine, I have a half track, and I'm going to put the back trucks on the half track and pick it up, and you'll see how it holds it. And it really holds it pretty good. Nice magnet. So now I finished with the inside of it, and I'm going to put the cover on, but I might have to pick it up to put the cover back on because of the angle that I have to put on. But I just want to show you what holds it. You can see the two clips. Well, these two clips clip on the back frame, and what holds the front, there's a screw that screws into this port right here. So let me put the body back on. Just take a few moments, fellas. Got to be careful because, as I mentioned, it's so close to the horn. There we go. That didn't take too long. Okay, so that covers the engine, and I'll move this up, and we'll bring up the B car. Switch. Sorry about that, fellas. Let me just get this out of the way. Now the B car also has, as you can see, the wall bonnet, and has the colors, the sort of orange, yellow, and black, and then it has the Indian head here. And the siding is basically the same as the engine. It has these ladders, and it goes into this little compartment. It has a door here, and another access door, and another metal steps, and the two windows. And then the top is exactly the same thing as the engine, except of course it doesn't have the horns on it. And these two couplers, they don't open. And each end of the B car is the same as the back of the diesel. So I'm really not going to go into that. But I will show you how you have to just, because they don't operate, you got to pick it up. And you got to get it so that it goes, they match up, drops down, and as you can see, it's connected. I'll move that out of the way, and I'll bring up the next car, which they call the piggyback car, right here. And I enjoyed this one, and I'll tell you why. What came with this car and the two trailers, it's a platform, and on top of the platform you have a forklift with a little figure in it. And what the forklift would do, it would come up, and it would come up on a certain angle, and it would lift it. Now I'm going to use my hands. It would lift it and swing it around, and it would put it down on the platform, and then of course it would do the reverse, and the same with this one. So I thought that was nice, and as I mentioned, when I was a kid, I had an awful lot of fun with it. Now, as you can see, the car is nice red, and the white lettering Lionel and the number 6430. Has a little brake wheel, and it has a little linkage here and steps here, but everything is molded, of course. And the trucks are cast, and they have little springs, and they have bearings. And all of the trucks are the same in all of the cars. And the couplers, this is very interesting. Lionel put a piece of metal that came out on an angle, and that was to help you to open it, especially when you had the two cars hooked up. I thought that was pretty neat. The other couplers, it was underneath, and it was kind of awkward to do it manually. But of course, I guess it was more realistic because you didn't see this little tab here. But I thought it was nice. It was easy to operate. And the trailers are nice also. As you can see, I like the color. It's like a copper color with the arrow. And the background is a metal, shiny metal. It has a nice ribs in this area. The front looks nice. It has a little work here and a little bit in this area. And the back, it has the two doors, and it has hinges, as you can see. And it has a little latch here, but they don't open up. And on the bottom, you have your wheels and an axle. And then you have your front one. You can fold them like so, and then pick it up. And what it says here, it says Cooper Jarrett Incorporated, Kansas City, Chicago, New York, Philadelphia. I thought that was nice. And also it's the same thing on the other trailer. Now I'll just tip this up a little bit. The car is plastic, but this is metal, and you have two screws, and you can take the screws out, and this frame comes out. And I noticed they have little holes where you can put like little pieces of wood, and then you can use this as a flat car. But I never did use it as a flat car. I always used it this way. So I thought that was pretty neat. I had a lot of fun with this one. The next car that I'm going to show you, a nice looking car. Just bring it up. There we go. Get this out of there. The color I like. It's brown top, and the both ends are brown. You have a nice brown door here, and then you have white. And it has some nice detail. You have your ladder, has a lot of nice rivets in here. And this says the route of the chief, all Pullman, Chicago, Los Angeles, streamline. It has a symbol of Lionel, built 554. It has a nice door, and it has MTC. And the writing on the door, it says close and lock before moving car. Then as you go down, there's some more detail. And you have this area right here. It looks like a sort of a door with a grill. I have a feeling in the real world that's where the compressor was and the condenser. And this is the ladder that leads you up to the roof. You have your Santa Fe logo and the SFRD 6672. And you have a metal plate here. Unfortunately, you really can't see it. It's a gauge and all different types of knobs. And right in here it says Carrier, for Carrier Corporation, Refrigeration Company. And the door does open, but this door, you got to pull it out. Let's see if I can get it, and then slide it. And then it would do the same. Underneath, it has some detail. It has a couple of, I think this is probably where the refrigeration fluid was. And then you have another little box here and something in this area. And you have the same on the other side. I think you can see that. Nice detail. And the roof, nice detail. The catwalk. They have some access panels here. And this end has a ladder that goes up to the roof. And you have your brake wheel, a little platform. And what's on this side is on the other end, except it doesn't have the brake wheel. So I had some fun with this one too. I thought that was a real neat looking car. Let's get it together. Move it up. Now we have another car. And this one here, I really had fun with. This was the brakeman's car. And I like the color. It's nice color blue, and it has white lettering and a white door with some nice detail on it. But this door, you just slide it, and slides closed. And you have the brakeman, which is a white figure. Now the way this worked, you had a post here, and then going across, I'm going to use my fingers. It had like things dangling. And what would happen, before the brakeman would reach this point, it would drop down. And then when it passed it, it would pop up. And boy, I ran this thing along a lot of times. I had a lot of fun with it. Now, over here you have a flag, and it says Wabash, built 856 by Lionel. Some weights and stuff in here. Nice detail on the white door. More weights and stuff. And then here it says, follow the flag, Wabash, 3424. And you have a ladder going up here on the roof with some handrails, but it's all molded. And you have two grab handles here. And then on this end, you have a ladder that goes up, platform with the brake and rods coming down in the real world, hook up to the brake system. I thought that was nice, but I had so much fun with this set. And then the last car is the caboose. There it is. Nice red caboose. It has white lettering. It says Lionel built. C40-1, that's the type, and it was built in 1947. Lionel logos and 6254 has some nice steps, and the front It has a nice metal railing, and it has a coupler, that operating coupler. And you have the doors, and these have plastic in it, the windows. It's a nice little workmanship. And then on the back, this particular one on the back, it doesn't have a coupler, just the one in the front, but it does have the brake wheel and another nice handrail, metal handrail, and the same as far as the door and everything, which is on the other side. The top, as you can see, it has a nice catwalk over here and here, and it has little handrails, but of course that's molded, and all the windows, and it has plastic in it. Now I'm going to take this body off, and I'll show you how they put the plastic in there. It's very interesting. See if I get it out. Okay, now this is the body, and this is the plastic. And the way it works, you just drop this into the body like so, and you put this on top. And then there's two screws that would go in here to hold the body. So I thought that was pretty nice. And one other thing, right here there's a little circle, and that's where a black stack would be, but they didn't put it on. And I noticed they didn't put railings, steps on the back and the front. I'm sorry, this camera's acting up. It just went off, and I'll start it again. As I mentioned, it didn't have a chimney, and it didn't have ladders on each side, but it did have the plastic in it, which was nice. And now what I'll do is I'll run the engine a couple of times, and then I'll take the engine off and put it on this half track to pick it up, and you see how the magnet holds it. So we'll start the engine up now. I'll run it with the lights out. Or some of the lights. I had a lot of fun with this engine, especially running it around the Christmas tree. And I like the way that the caboose is all lit up, the whole body. Well, there's one other thing I wanted to show you. Now, I'm going to slow it down to the point where it's going to stop. All right. Now, what you're hearing is that relay is still energized. So let's say you pull into a station, or you pull into a siding and you have to wait. When I'm ready to start, I'll blow the horn, and I just put power to it, and it takes right off, so I don't have to worry about going into neutral. I thought that was neat. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off, and I'm going to put that half track on the back trucks, and you'll see how it picks it up. Here we go, fellas. Yeah, see it? And I tell you, it takes a little pressure to pull it away from it. It really wants to grab that track. So I thought that was pretty good technology, you know. So I just wanted to show you that, fellas. And there was one other thing. This little lever, the metal lever that I was showing you, right here. Now, if you put this in a forward position, it breaks the contact for the directional relay. So this won't move. No matter how many times you press the directional button on your transformer, it's not gonna move. And the reason they did that, if this train was on the siding and you had another train running around on another track, and you can operate that train, forward, neutral, reverse, this will have no effect to it. But when you're finished playing with that train and you want to start this one, you would take this piece of metal and bring it back, and this will make contact to the coil, the directional coil, and then the coil can get power to it, and then you can operate it from your transformer, forward, neutral, reverse. I thought that was interesting too. Well, basically that's my set, and this is the information and fun that I wanted to share with you. So I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, I enjoy making them and running my post-war trains and also my legacy trains. And one day what I'll do is I'll run this one with my legacy trains. But until then, you fellas have a great day. Take care now. Bye.